Good afternoon. So, one of the things that impacts mobility, which is one of the four core values that I'm constantly talking about, is the issue of the balance between strength and flexibility. And as I've said before, is when we get too far on the spectrum of strength, this could lead to rigidity. Or if we go too far in the direction of flexibility, this sometimes can lead to instability. The optimum balance between these two poles is maximum mobility. And through the Thai yoga therapy, the yoga practice, the various things that I teach and do myself, I'm constantly looking at ways to become more mobile, or to work with my clients to get them more mobile, and also to get my student practitioners, or the people that I'm teaching, ways to improve their mobility, because obviously more mobility means more life, more ability to move, and that's how we progress. And that's how we know that we're doing better versus doing worse in our physical organism. So one of the moves that I like to do myself, and I often would put my clients through this as well, is something that helps to loosen tight shoulders. It's part of a series of moves that I use to undo frozen shoulder problems and resolve issues with rotator cuffs and labral tears and things like that. But the most basic and the most effective part of this whole little protocol that I've developed is going down onto your forearms or your elbows. So let's say you are the kind of person who has spent a lot of time at a computer, at a desk, or possibly on the phone, or even driving for that matter. Or you like to lift really strong weights in a gym, preacher curls, things like that, anything, or even, or especially cyclists, when you're cycling and you tend to be kind of hunched over, these muscles in the back start to get tense. So we have several muscles: rhomboids, trapezius, subscapularis, all of these, and actually several more muscles that ideally are sliding over each other when they move. So you move one tightens up and the other one releases, and then another one tightens and then another one releases. And the fascia, which is the membrane in between these muscles or over each of the muscles, ideally is very fluid, but sometimes it gets sticky from holding a position too long or nervous tension, and it leads to this condition we call myofascial adhesion. Well, more mobility equals less adhesion, so we need to find a way to get these muscles to kind of open and move over each other. Like ideally, we should be able to, move our scapula, shoulder blade freely, and even to the point where you might be able to get your fingers in underneath. And then when you need to, you can tighten it up and then pull the scapula back to the ribs. But it's always a sign for me of a certain degree of myofascial adhesion is when we can get this scapula to kind of wing away from the rib a little bit. So one of the first things that I like to do for that, it's a great way of getting a little bit relaxed after a busy day, is go down onto your belly as if you're going to be lying on your stomach and say reading a book or something. In fact, it's not a bad idea. If this kind of thing makes you a little bit bored, then you could just lie down, have something to read. Ideally, don't check your emails or use your digital device. But basically, the idea is it's very important that your elbow is directly under your shoulder blade, because in that way you will have the least amount of effort involved in staying up. Now the idea here is that you can just sink into this with no effort whatsoever. So let's say you just had a really tense day, you would more than likely start off over here. And then as you lean and relax into this and just allow gravity to start taking over, ideally your chest is going to go lower and lower and lower to the ground. Now something that will probably happen is you might start having your shoulders go forward, in which case you just want to adjust and move the elbows a little bit forward or the shoulders a little bit back, so that there is, again, this vertical alignment for your upper arm. Now, sometimes to get the idea of what I'm talking about, I like to do what I call a gecko push-up. And that's kind of this kind of thing. So I'm going to turn a little bit towards you so that you can see what I'm doing. So a gecko push-up, I pull up and I just sink down. Pull up and I just sink down. Many people are not even aware that they have this much travel, and I think that's an important thing, because if you're a cyclist, you're going to tend to have a habitual pattern of this kind of thing. If you hang out here long enough, you can be really relaxed. What's going to happen is your chest is going to sink down in between your shoulder blades. And you'll go from here gradually to there, which by the way happens to be the perfect alignment for your whole shoulder mechanism. So I would suggest just lightly interlacing the fingers so that you're as relaxed as possible. You can also let your neck go. So if you release or relax your neck, then you allow the weight of your head to pull down. And this is going to stretch these top ends of the trapezius a little bit, and you'll get some relief there as well. So the idea here is just gravity to do this, sometimes called a restorative type of move. So you just relax, 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 you soften, 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 and you can start enhancing this slightly by doing a little kind of motions from side to side, but without engaging really any serious muscle action. All you're doing is, like, imagine you're doing a gentle sort of a massage, acupressure on the floor using your elbow or your forearm, just to allow you to sink even further, further. Now right here already is going to give many people a lot of relief without doing anything else. You could take this a little bit further by moving your knees in towards your elbows, or walking your elbows back towards your knees a little bit. So the idea here is that we have the same thing going with the knees under the hips. So there's vertical thighs, and we allow the belly to just sink in, to drop towards the floor, the head can relax. You could do a couple of cat-cow type moves like this for some spine flexing. And then you just hang out like this for a little bit, and you can start doing some gradual little circles. I often say it's like you look from above, it's kind of like your chest is doing a circle in between your elbows. You go clockwise, counterclockwise, and then your sacrum is doing a circle in between your knees. And you can explore as you go around these little circles, any little spot you find that's a little stuck, a little catchy, a little glitchy or something, you can hang out there and see if you can release that slightly. But the whole point is that you are just softening and just releasing into this. It also allows you to get a little bit of a thoracic spine back bend. And that's always something we're trying to achieve. Like the low back is usually too flexible. It's unstable in most people. And that's why there's so much low back problems. To the degree you can get your thoracic spine to become flexible and supple, it's going to take a lot of that intensity of the bending out of the lower back, the lumbar spine, and allow you much more flexibility throughout your whole spine. So then, just to progress from this position, I would ease my way back towards child's pose. So just keeping my head on the floor and my hands and my elbows, and hold that position. And then I can go from here, when I feel like it, lifting my chest, gradually bringing the hands towards the knees, and all the while intending to have my chest as far forward as possible and my shoulders as far back. No effort, very easy movement. And eventually I can come all the way up and just sit back on my heels. So try this move, take your time, do it easily, slowly. If you have any questions, you can always reach me at the website, or you can call me anytime. I'd be happy to give you some more advice. Thank you for watching, and look forward to seeing you somewhere down the road. Namaste.